Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's Getting Over, our wrestling podcast. It's that time again. We've got a premium live event. See, I can say it. I'm not stuck in my ways. Premium live event coming your way, and it is Clash in Paris 2025. Find out what these two lovely gentlemen, yes, unfortunately, myself and Mr. Moore were unavailable for this one, so it is just the reigning wrestling podcast host and the challenger here to bring you all the wrestling news, all the wrestling reviews, previews, and what we all, because I know I sent some predictions and I imagine Matt probably sent some as well, what we think is going to happen in Clash in Paris. Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. The big one, the best one, the one we like the most. Share this podcast around. If you know anybody that likes wrestling in any way, shape or form, send this podcast to them. They will love it. Right, time to get started. Here we go. This is CookieCast, Getting Over.
Hello, welcome along one and all to the latest episode of Getting Over right here on CookieCast. If you're new here, and you're not familiar with Getting Over, we are the home of all things wrestling and WWE on the CookieCast network. And whether it's your first time here or you've been here since the start, you're all most welcome. And thank you very much for joining me. Speaking of joining me, the YouTube viewers will have already seen, but we are travelling light on this episode. As SummerSlam is now in our rearview mirror, with summer starting to draw to a close, last-minute travel plans have wreaked havoc with our roster of regulars. So rather than the usual fatal four-way that is the podcast, this episode sees us trimmed down to a one-on-one match player. Thankfully for me, it's not against The Undertaker. So huge thank you to Paul Williams for tagging in and accompanying me on this episode. All good, sir?
Yeah, I mean, the Teddy Long stuff was almost spot on.
Almost. Can't do him justice though, can I?
Well, I mean, who can? Not even Teddy Long can do himself justice. Some would say, but yeah, don't think he ever booked a one-on-one match in his life, or any match that didn't involve the Undertaker. So,
well, even though we are low in number, we still have all the regular segments, news, and predictions, including predictions from the absentees, Mr. Andrew Cook and Mr. Matthew Moore. So we will get to that a little bit later on. But as always, we will kick off with the predictions, title results, and a little bit about the last premium live event, which was SummerSlam. So last time Paul retained the title, he was looking for the three-peat now. But is it going to happen? SummerSlam was a big old event, 12 points, because there was 2 nights worth of stuff to go at. And of course, we had guest predictions from Max last time out. Unfortunately for Max, he has finished in last place with 6 out of 12. I think Max's luck would change if we do actually manage to get him on the podcast. But this time around, it's not Max's fault. It's mine. I've been ridiculously busy and haven't had time to arrange it with him. So Max, if you're listening, that one's on me. Apologies. We will get you on at some point soon. I promise. If you still fancy it, of course. But yeah, so technically Max in 5th place with 6 points, but we jump from 5th to joint 2nd, which means we have 3 predictors locked on the same score of 7 out of 12. Paul's doing the math there. I think he's live reenacting that formulaic GIF that everyone is aware of. So the 3 people who are locked in 2nd place are myself, Andy, and the defending champion, Mr. Paul Williams. So Matt takes the win on the episode with 8 out of 12, and he's not even here to see it. If we could flash up any kind of graphic on the podcast in post-production, looking at you, Mr. Cook, of the graphic that WWE use when Vacant holds the title, now might be the chance to use that. So well done to Matt. When you hear this back, the title is yours for now. So let's see where we went wrong and what we thought to the outcomes and the matches in the end. So, disappointingly, everybody had Randy Orton and Jelly Roll to defeat Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. So nobody could have got 4 points because that didn't happen. The ones that let Matt down didn't let others down. So there was some strange sort of crisscrossing. The one that everybody got right, however, was Naomi retaining her women's world title. But other than that, it was a mix across the board. Matt was the only person to predict that Tiffany Stratton would return against Jade. Andy and Matt were the only two to get Sami Zayn to beat Karrion Kross. Obviously, we'll maybe mention that guy's name a little bit more in the news section. Matt was the only person to not pick Roman and Jay to win their tag team match. So even though he wins the predictions, he's doing it by just sort of taking the piss, really, and getting the easy ones wrong, I suppose, is the way that he's done it, but he still won. So yeah, in terms of matches, nothing is sticking out to me as being massively memorable, other than the Gunther versus Punk match. Now, that was for the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk won, held the title for all of, 5 minutes or so, before the injured Seth Rollins comes to stage with his crutches and throws them to one side, hot tails it down to the ring with a briefcase in hand, and subsequently cashes in to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. So the match was, from what I remember, pretty long and pretty slow and pretty slappy. Nothing. Too many finishes is another thing that kind of sticks out from memory.
Honestly, I've kind of forgotten everything that happened at SummerSlam. I'm pretty sure I watched it fairly at the time, as in it was either like the day after the particular day. But yeah, it's just completely sort of like skipped my memory. I honestly can't remember a single thing, any of the matches in depth already.
I think the Spot Fest that was the tag titles six pack TLC match was probably the highlight, purely for the amount of absolute craziness that went on, including Candice LeRae and B-Fab getting involved for their respective teams. Candice taking one hell of a bump from the top of the ladders out through another ladder. When she hit the ground, forearm first, I was like, oh, that's it. Arm's broken. It looked bad.
Arm, hip, leg, head, like that. I didn't think there was a way that she could possibly have landed that and not hurt at least something. Well,
she was sporting a hell of a bruise for a couple of weeks on TV, wasn't she? That was about the size of a football at the top of her thigh. So that was pretty brutal. But also as well, the Spanish Fly off the top through the table. Montez Ford giving it the old big leg drop, I think it was as well, through another table elsewhere. Just carnage.
Well, there was three, wasn't there, back to back? Back to back. So it was
Gargano and Ciampa going through the tables as well at the other side after the ladder spot too.
Was it Dexter Loomis that did the other one as well? Did he do a leg drop on someone?
Oh, it was maybe Loomis that did the leg drop, yeah. Yeah, so carnage everywhere. Other notable results in terms of the titles. Dom retained his Intercontinental title. Becky retained against Lyra, so it means that Lyra can no longer challenge for the IC title as long as Becky's got it. Solo Sikoa kept hold of the US title. The women's tag team titles changed hands, so Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are now the champions. So look out for an injury coming to one of those sometime in the next 6 weeks. The case of the tag team titles. It's a real thing. But then, the main thing from night 2 was Cody Rhodes defeating 17-time champion John Cena to take back what is now no longer the undisputed WWE Championship and is just the WWE Championship officially in the listings once again. That was kind of... The weekend had a bit of a strange feel to it right from SmackDown, because obviously they've doubled down on this John Cena heel turn stuff since he shocked the world back at Elimination Chamber. That Friday night rolls around, and magically, in the space of one 15-minute promo, all that is wiped away. He's found his whole collection of Chaos Emeralds in his back pocket, and he is right back to being Super Cena again. The child-friendly, definitely didn't want to punch Cody in the balls ever again version of John Cena. Had a little bit of a pop at The Rock and Travis Scott during the promo. So it was a bit like, is it a setup? But not enough to kind of throw people off. And I think most of the crowd at SummerSlam was seemingly in favour of Cena retaining the title. With it being a street fight, no DQ, that didn't happen. Cody obviously played by the rules because there were no rules, and there was no question that he was going to start using weapons and stuff. Went at it right from the off, and eventually ran out the winner. So he's now a 2-time WWE champion. Was there anything that now we've had a little bit of a run through, Paul, that's jogged in the memory, or did you want to move on to the news?
I suppose just like the funniest thing of the entire weekend was kind of the Cena comes out. Oh no, it's still all the black sort of screens with just the white John Cena logo, and then his music sort of like did the sort of the breakdown thing and full colour, and everyone just lost their shit. So I thought that was quite fun.
Everyone lost their shit, and the 3 or 4 rows nearest to the whole Titantron went blind for the next sort of 15 minutes as they tried to the retinas tried to recover. Everyone's like,
was it? Speaking of that, actually, was it SummerSlam this year where someone like the pyro set on fire at a part of the stage or something like that, or am I making that up?
I've not seen that. So if it was, that was passed me by.
Must have just been something I'd seen in passing from on Twitter or TikTok or something like that. But I assume it was quickly thrown and swept under the carpet because nothing seems to have come out of it. So
the one thing that we've not discussed is what happened after Cody had picked up the title.
Are we allowed to legally?
He's in the
perspective.
He's in the clear for now, clearly. So the match finished, the dust settled, Cena's getting to his feet. Some music hits. Music that we've not heard for at least 1.5 lawsuits, should I say. The return of the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, as he not storms to the ring, because he sort of had a bit of a swagger down there in his leather waistcoat and his cowboy hat. You know he means business when he takes that off and reveals that he's still got a top knot. I mean, he was going to tell him. Gets himself into the ring, and John Cena tries to swing for him. Lesnar ducked it, smashes him with an F5, and then just clears off again. And so far, that's the only bit we've seen. He's not been around since. Cena has. Cena's got a match coming up this weekend on the other side of the planet, as we'll get to later on. But yeah, no Brock Lesnar since that time. So I think Cena's not got many dates left. We now know that one of the opponents is clearly going to be all broccoli. So when does that happen? Would they actually line Brock up as his last opponent? Because if they do, they've got a chance to ruin 2 things there with Brock, haven't they? Obviously, Undertaker's streak, as we all well know, and then the end of Cena's career. Please don't let that happen. Anyway, I suppose that kind of counts as news because of the return. So we'll carry on with a little bit more news. And yeah, after the dust had settled on SummerSlam, Naomi was supposed to defend the women's championship on Raw and didn't. The match was just sort of cancelled, and Io Sky was left without an opponent. However, it's managed to throw Io into a kind of different story loop with the Kabuki Warriors not turning on her officially yet, but that's kind of sent her down another path. But there was really no mention of Naomi, and then just that she wasn't cleared to compete. And then on Raw this past week, she came back. And after winning Money in the Bank, then claiming that women's world title, combined with the change of character and the great work that's been put into that, it's probably fair to say that 2025 has been Naomi's standout year. It's a long way from the Funkadactyls, put it that way, ladies and gentlemen. Well, for Naomi, personally, and Jimmy Uso, this year is about to get even better because on last week's episode of Raw, Naomi announced to the world that she was relinquishing the title as she's not injured, she's pregnant. So congratulations to Naomi and Jimmy Uso. They did it. She was in the ring and Adam Pearce was like, well, do you want to tell everybody something? And she went, watch the screen, because she obviously couldn't talk. And they announced it via the medium of Stephanie McMahon's podcast. So possibly the most corporate pregnancy announcement, because they used it to drum up interest in a segment. Then they used that segment to promote Stephanie McMahon's podcast. And then the clip gave her enough time to get back into character to give Adam Pearce a bit of a grilling and a bit of an angry, maniacal laugh as she was sent off for the next, 9 months plus. But yeah, I've enjoyed Naomi since she's had this character change. I think that, you can never plan when these things are going to happen necessarily in some cases. I really hope that if she wants to come back, she gets that same momentum when she comes back, because she has been great, I think. Anyway.
Can I just add one thing? Did you see Becky Lynch's tweet about it?
Mm-mm.
When I think she put out something along the lines of, "Oh God, getting pregnant while she was still the champ. God, how irresponsible!" Winking smiley face.
Yeah, plus as well, because she was Miss Money in the Bank first, she couldn't even do the thing that Becky did by gifting it to somebody within the briefcase. So,
yeah, exactly.
I probably shouldn't use the phrase gifting it in the briefcase, because we don't want to get into any kind of euphemisms in that sort of neck of the woods, do we? Anyway, moving swiftly along. Again, Andy can edit all this out in post, it's fine. It's been a bit of a quiet month. We were discussing briefly on our messages before we came on air that there's not really that much news. I suppose it's kind of been a bit of a shorter turnaround between SummerSlam and Clash in Paris. But the biggest sort of thing online, I suppose, for the last few weeks has been what's going to happen with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. So their contracts have expired and they've left WWE. Or have they? Because the lines have been blurred so much recently with the whole Seth Rollins injury stuff and R-Truth when he kind of went and then came back and nobody knew what was real and what wasn't, that Kross was left, his contract was left to expire in a period of time where the crowd were chanting for him. He was a top merch seller, most recently around back end of WrestleMania, heading into the summer. Everything seemed to be going in the right direction. The only thing that didn't really happen was he never really got any momentum in the ring. He got one victory, I think, over Sami in their series, and then obviously the blow-off match at SummerSlam. We now know why Sami Zayn took that win, because Kross's contract was coming due. He's done a few interviews since. He is adamant that it's not a work, because it's that difficult situation, though, of, is it a work? No. Oh, you said no, so it definitely is now, isn't it? No, it's not. Oh, you said it twice. It definitely isn't. It's like in this never-ending loop that people then become. Oh, he's definitely coming back. But yeah, he's already been, because his contract was left to expire as opposed to being released. There was no compete either, which I don't think has probably helped things, fueling the flames in the sense of, ooh, WWE have let him go and do this. But he's popped up at a few independent promotions so far. He's been announced for House of Glory, which I think is Booker T's promotion, because, you know, there's no direct link between the guy who's a current commentator on NXT and Karrion Kross's old employer at all. He's been at GCW. I think the thing that he seems to be trying to do to distance himself is that on the interviews he has done, he's never disparaged WWE, but he's getting progressively less PG as we go. So we'll see. We'll see where it leads. It said that he was offered a contract and he asked for some more information in terms of how they'd come to the number of what they were going to pay him, what metrics they'd used. Obviously, he was referring to the merch stuff and kind of all the rest of it. 24. He was given a hard deadline, apparently, of 24 hours. And when that 24 hours passed and the call came, he was asked if the decision had been made, and he apparently asked if the information was available for him to look at to make such a decision. The information wasn't there, and then because the 24 hours had passed, apparently WWE rescinded their offer. So this is the story so far. What do you think, Paul?
It's that sort of situation where like you never really can tell what's going on, and you'd never be 100% sure at saying that something's not going on. But I can't remember what. As you said, which company it was that he popped up for at the weekend?
GCW was his last one.
Yeah. Was that when Cardona was in the ring?
Shotzi was around, so Cardona probably wouldn't have been too far. And then there's this like promo video of him playing a violin and then smashing it against the wall from after the event as well.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense that they are done and they're gone from the company, but I wouldn't be surprised if roll around Rumble and he comes out as a surprise entrant or something like that. Let the sort of let it die down for a bit, shall we say? But like they've actually sort of agreed to him, like we're actually going to bring you back in, or bring you both back in what would it be now? 4 months' time, 5 months' time.
See, there was things of rumblings as well of that he was offered the new contract, but no mention of anything for Scarlett. So that might be a factor for him as well. So anyway, hopefully we will see him back. I think he was an interesting character, not only in NXT, but he was just starting to hit some real stride with what was happening.
But that whilst that is true, and like you even covered it there. You said like he was an interesting character. He was getting over in interviews, etc., etc. He had one win, or he had like one match like on a pay per view. Like, he wasn't being utilized in ring in the correct manner. So
let's be fair though, he had to suffer on that main roster because he got lumbered with Akam and Razor for way too long. If your faction's name is the Final Testament and every man and their dog eventually knew them as the Final Testicle because they just cocked everything up, that kind of tells you all you need to know. Those two, whilst they are a powerhouse tag team, weren't necessarily needed. Could Cross be in charge of a faction? Absolutely. Did they need another faction at that time when you've got like the Wyatt Six trying to get off the ground again and all that? Not really. Paul Ellering, fine, no problem with him being there as a mouthpiece. But if it had been Ellering, Cross, and Scarlett, I think it would have worked much better. There was too much dead weight. They ended up just being used as cannon fodder in the matches that, like, to put other people over. Whereas if it had been Cross with the other two supporting, he would have been featuring more in the singles division rather than been lumped in with that for me. And I think that would have helped matters. But maybe that's just me. Right. So yeah, like we said, not masses of news. So that's going to smack us straight into the predictions already. This weekend, we've got technically a first time ever premium live event because it's Clash in Paris, but they've blatantly taken just all of the IP from Clash at the Castle that's already been used and just made it a little bit more arty. I don't know if you've seen any of the branding, but it's all very sort of Art Deco. Yeah.
What, Van Gogh? Oh no, he was Dutch, wasn't he?
I'm gonna suggest that we maybe don't start naming artists just because definitely not my forte. I don't know about you.
We'll just say Monet and not say if it's correct or not.
They fucked it up already then, haven't they? They should have been in France a couple of months earlier because they could have had money in the bank. Very welcome.
Probably best that they don't start throwing around the name Monet, though. So.
Well, true. Yeah, there is that. Oh dear, bank on that. Right. So Clash in Paris, shockingly, comes to us live from Paris, but specifically.
Whoa! First I've heard.
Specifically, the La Defense Arena, and that's this coming Saturday. When I looked it up, it didn't actually say Paris on the exact description, but then I had to look, and apparently it's in a very western suburb of Paris, so just about clinging on. As always,
is this gonna be like the Stade de France, which is technically in Saint-Denis, but it's all Paris, but it's all like it's like 8 steps outside of the border or something like that. It's all bollocks. Well, anyway, rant over. Carry on.
We'll be able to look forward to that when I need to use another geography-based mileage question for the tie break at some point.
Lovely.
So, yeah, as always, the match card information is taken from WWE.com and is correct at the time of recording. However, this time around, a little bit of full disclosure, pulling back the curtain a little, we're actually having to record this as Raw is being broadcast live from Birmingham in the UK. So, as per where we are normally, we're actually sort of missing an episode of Raw as well. So the card, in that sense, is subject to and likely to change. So points for the predictions this time around will only be judged on those matches officially announced ahead of the final Raw before the premium live event. Get it? Got it? Good. Right. Cool. Right. So 4 matches we have. A good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Sheamus versus Rusev, John Cena versus Logan Paul, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, and a World Heavyweight title fatal 4-way match. That's Rollins defending as champion against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and LA Knight. So, no prizes for guessing where we're going to start, because we're going to do them in that order. And that is the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Traditional to the native land of not France. SmackDown was in Dublin the weekend before they headed to France. Why not do a Donnybrook match there? I know the guys were on Raw, but, it would have made more sense. Anyway, from the moment Rusev came back to WWE, he's butted heads with Sheamus. After a series of matches in which, frankly, no rules were cared for, no clear winner has been determined, and after one too many backstage brawls, Adam Pearce made it official. A match with no rules to finally draw a line under all of this. It's been billed a Donnybrook match, and for the uninitiated, the Donnybrook is the Irish cane-looking thing, which Sheamus carries and occasionally uses to his advantage. I believe in the sort of the multiverse and universe of WWE that it must have been passed down from Fit Finlay to his absolutely non-biological son Sheamus, because Fit Finlay used to have that too. Go on, Paul.
Is that not the shillelagh?
Yeah, but it looks exactly the same to me. And if
Nah.
some, I'll tell you what, right? If somebody, without googling it, can put in the comments what the difference between a shillelagh and a Donnybrook is, and I don't want that thing that's going to get us banned off the internet putting in there either, if that's what you're saying. But no, they're very similar, aren't they? But yeah, basically that becomes legal in this match, and so are other weapons. So it's essentially no DQ. So who is going to take the win in Paris? Now, as I mentioned, I have got Andy's and I have got Matt's. I've also got mine in the book already. So I can tell you right from the off that Paul has a chance to be out there on Points Island, as both Andy, Matthew, and myself have all gone for Rusev. Andy has said that Rusev needs a boost to his career, and Sheamus feels like the guy WWE uses to give people that boost. So Rusev for the win. I think they both need a win, but I think as Rusev is the returnee, whichever, I think he's more likely in this one. So, Paul, where are you headed?
Well, I must admit, I've not seen any of this feud. I've not really been keeping up with Raw and SmackDown. It's Sheamus's match, so he shouldn't lose it. It's that weird sort of thing in it. I don't know.
A bit like when they wrestle in their hometown, you mean?
Oh yeah, that is a good point. I'd really considered that. It's the thing we always say. Like Andy's covered it perfectly there. You know.
But I also seem to remember we said that Karrion Kross needed the win at SummerSlam, and we've just discussed that.
Exactly. But the point is, they've only just brought Rusev back. Well, I say only just. He's probably been there. He's probably been back like 6 months. We don't even know it yet, or something like that. But
was he not the Raw after WrestleMania dude this time?
Oh, yeah. So what's that? 5 months?
Nah, not quite, is it? Not quite. Getting there.
But yeah, part of me wants to just sort of like go for Sheamus just so I can get points.
Is that what you're doing?
So I will. Yes,
right.
I will. Bollocks to it. give me Sheamus with the points.
Okay. Who'd have thought that Paul would be throwing his support behind a Ginge? Right. Okay. So we've got time for one more, I think, before we have to have a little break. So we'll go into the John Cena versus Logan Paul match. Now, on the SmackDown following Cena's loss to Cody, Logan Paul came out and ran his big mouth. And he was asking basically for one of Cena's final matches. A fight broke out that saw Cody come down to help Cena after Drew McIntyre had joined Logan Paul. It set up a tag team match between the four of them on that episode, but it ended with Logan Paul being disqualified after hitting Cena with a low blow. I've seen a few write-ups since this time saying how these guys are so different, how John Cena and Logan Paul are so different, and it's such a clash of styles. Cena literally came through the ranks by irritating people just by showing up and running his mouth. How is that any different to Logan Paul? The difference is that Cena had it in the tank to back it up, and 17 world titles later really has nothing left to prove, whilst Logan Paul is very much still yet to prove it. Off the back of that, who's going to win this weekend? Paul? I mean, it feels like a rinse and repeat kind of situation, but I've got everybody's in the book apart from yours, and everybody else, Andy, Matt, and me, has gone for Cena.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to be putting myself on Points Island for this one. I mean, if they wanted to push him as like literally like, so Cena said I could see him as a champ in WWE. What better way to push that agenda than by giving him a win over like what they class as like, you know, their best big wrestler ever? and stuff like that. I think it would be the sort of thing where if you did have Logan Paul win this anywhere else other than the United States, they're potentially having a bit of a riot. So yeah, Cena win from it.
Andy said, "Finally, I can say someone will beat that Muppet." So Cena to win, unless Brock decides to take a trip to Paris and mess things up for him. But he said, "Put me down for Cena in the book." It could happen. I mean, we had AJ Styles go all the way to Australia just to get involved in an elimination chamber ending once upon a time. But I can't see Brock getting out of bed to go to France for less than a good chunk of change. So I don't think we see that this week.
I did think it was quite funny when all the French people are going, "Oh my God, we're getting Lesnar versus Cena." That was never going to happen.
Yeah, definitely got lost in translation then. So we've only got 2 matches left to cover. Big matches: Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, and that World Heavyweight Championship Fatal 4-Way match. So we are going to just take literally a second's break, and we'll be right back to you.
Cool.
Oh. And we're back. Quicker than we even thought. It just happened. We're there. Hello again. It's time. Two more matches to go. And of those, the first is Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. So this match stems from the Rollins-Reigns rivalry. Try saying that when you've had a few. As Rollins formed his new group, The Vision, shortly after WrestleMania. Shortly after his WrestleMania win over Roman Reigns, the big dog has found himself on the blunt end of attacks by Bronson Reed on a couple of occasions. And to add insult to injury, Reed has then stolen Reigns' shoes on a couple of occasions also. He's taken to wearing them around his neck, labelling them the Shula Fala, mocking Reigns' Ula Fala he wears as the tribal chief. Reed has also been labelled the tribal thief as a result. These are all genuine terms that have been written in actual words on the WWE website. It's not just me making up the dad jokes before anybody throws those accusations my way.
Oh, I am fully here for it as well. If anything, they just keep them coming.
Wait a minute. So you give me a kick in every time I make a dad joke on this podcast, but yet the second WWE do it.
No, I give you a shoe in. The Fallon. Every time you make a terrible dad joke, these are just next level.
Again, Andy, post-production, if you could throw a little poll up at this point for the regular listeners, which puns are better, mine or WWE's? I think we'll finally get the answer to that question, Paul.
Just before you go on as well, one thing I did see that I thought was quite funny was that someone was petitioning for Roman Reigns to come out shoeless for his match. I think I might have even said it on the podcast last time. Well, that he should have gone out for their match at SummerSlam just in his stocking feet. So.
You've almost trampled on my final line. My final line is, who walks out of Paris with their hand raised, and will they be wearing shoes? I haven't got the answer to both of those questions in all of our predictions. I've just got a winner's name. But this time around, the 3 that are in the book already, only 2 of them agree. The 2 that agree, Mr. Andy Cook and myself, we have both gone for Bronson Reed. Now, as what we were just discussing a moment or 2 ago, in terms of who needs a win, for my money, and from what I've seen, I think Roman Reigns has got quite a big part in the Street Fighter film coming up. Bronson Reed probably needs a bit of a boost to his career. Even within the group that he's currently now in, he's definitely the lowest ranked member in the sense of, obviously, Rollins is the champion. They seem to be absolutely loving Braun Breaker. I mean, that guy could literally take a dump in the ring and they would still be cheering for him at this point. So Bronson Reed kind of needs something to keep him up there. A win over the Tribal Chief should do it. So that's where I've gone. Andy has said that not a lot for this one, But he does say it feels very odd to say it, but he thinks Bronson Reed will actually take the win. So that's where Andy's with that one. Obviously, Matt's gone for Roman Reigns. Paul?
It's another one of those ones where like the sensible pick will be a Roman Reigns win because they don't like to beat him. But I think I said this at SummerSlam as well. I think I said there was a world where I could see him putting him on like a bit of a losing streak, like lost his confidence, lost his wise man, lost his titles. He needs to find himself and all that sort of stuff. I still think there's something to that in that they could even if they just started from now, because obviously he won the match at SummerSlam. But you could start it from now, and then obviously that builds to him, being a viable candidate to win the Royal Rumble, say in January. Build the story around from there. So I've talked myself into it. Yeah, go put me down for Bronson.
Yeah.
I also think there's a big upside to Bronson Reed. I think they've played that really well, that little faction that they put together. Because, like you said, it's been obvious to see it since he was in NXT. Like Breaker is just I think we even said this about people like AJ Styles. If he's not the champion within the next 18 months, something's gone very, very wrong.
Well, if they're not just setting it up for effectively Evolution 2.0, where Bronson is effectively the Randy Orton of the group, then something is massively wrong. Like Bron should be the guy to take the title or a title, and then have Seth get jealous and all that kind of stuff that Batista and Triple H did back in the day. And if they don't do that, I feel like they've missed a trick. Anyway, you're in the book, which does leave Matt the one on Points Island this time. And we will move on to our final match. So not really too much to say on this one. It probably should be match of the night, and that is the World Heavyweight title fatal four-way match with Rollins versus Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight. I would suggest the longest part of this match will probably be Jey Uso's entrance. But we'll see. After cashing in at SummerSlam, Rollins walks into Paris, not a crutch in sight, with that World Heavyweight title and is set to defend it against those three men. The man who won the title at WrestleMania, Jey Uso, the man who beat Rollins at Saturday night's main event, LA Knight, and the man he stole the title from at SummerSlam, CM Punk. It feels a bit like a modern day sort of dream multi-man match. It's like one of them ones where you've just picked up the most recent edition of WWE 2K, whatever the year is at that point, and thought, I want to see the different entrances. I want to try out the different moves. I'll stick these four guys in. The chemistry's there. The talent is there. The only question is now is, how much are they going to deliver? Who is going to leave France with the gold? Again, we've only had 4 matches. We've stuck to this formula so far, and it's happened again. Both Andy and Matt have agreed with me and have gone for a Seth Rollins retention, with Andy's comment being he's picking Rollins just purely so Paul doesn't get annoyed at some hot potato shit with the title. I may have added a swear in
there. Tell me I'm wrong.
Why do you think we've all picked Rollins as well, man?
Well, obviously, I mean, it's a bit it's bad that we've kind of ended with this one. Do you reckon this will be the main event?
Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon they'll put Cena on last, just because it's like his last time in France and stuff like that.
Oh well, I think you'll also find, Paul, it's his first time premium live event. He's never been on a PLE in France or PPV in France, and I seem to recall him saying it might have even been his first TV appearance in France. Yeah, I will check that.
Well, I can certainly say with confidence from a video clip that I sent to the group earlier in the day, it's certainly not his first time in continental Europe, and it's certainly not his first time in Ireland, and it's certainly not his first time downing a full pint of Guinness. So he is slowly but surely just making his way into the hero books of my own personal opinion. So big up that man. Yeah, I don't know. I just
the stat that was has been touted is the event will feature John Cena's first and only appearance at a pay-per-view and live streaming event in France as an in-ring performer due to his retirement from professional wrestling at the end of 2025. So yeah, first time ever and last time ever. Vince McMahon would be having a little seizure about that somewhere.
Well, very much. It's one of those things as well. I think the only problem is that if it does go on last, sets the tongues wagging of, is Lesnar going to come out?
Yeah.
Is he going to be here? Blah, blah, blah. And obviously, because we've, watched wrestling before and know what that guy is like, there is absolutely zero chance he's nowhere other than his ranch in Saskatchewan or wherever it is. So, yes, would be very surprised if Mr. Lesnar turned up. I just think it gives you the chance to sort of have like the ending to the thing where they'll probably do the pyro and they send him off with good feelings and all that sort of. But for this one, I think this match is. I think it's probably the easiest to call of the four, even though there's the most competitors in it. He's only just got the title. Triple H doesn't seem to be the sort of guy who sort of like pings it back and forth. But since WrestleMania, there's been 4 changes already. So Gunther to Jay back to Gunther to Punk to Rollins.
Yeah.
So you've had the 4 changes in a little over 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I
just think that as well, that they're not going to keep blowing all the heat up Rollins' faction and then have him lose the belt within a couple of weeks of him first picking it up.
Just shits all over him, doesn't it, really?
For me, the way that this ends up going is there'll be at least one occasion where Punk nearly wins. Then ultimately Jey Uso will end up getting pinned because that guy's fallen off a cliff since WrestleMania. When they eventually put out the documentary stuff next year, I hope it picks up where the Unreal stuff finished for the first few episodes, because they were basically showing the rise of Jey Uso, and it'd be interesting to see if they relinquish any information as to quite why he's fallen down that pecking order so quickly.
Can I hazard a guess? It's that he was gassed as all fuck any time he went to the ring.
Well, yeah, but he had the perfect thing because he had the crowd in his back pocket, and whenever he needed a little breather, he'd just give it the old hand signal and then just plays music for a little bit longer. Anyway. So those 4 matches are now predicted in full. As we say, apologies if there is a lot added on Raw as we are recording this, but we will base our results off of those, as we said at the beginning. Is there anything else, Paul, that you'd like to bring up?
I have nothing to bring to the table, good sir. No.
Okay. Well, in that case, then, we'll call it. That has been episode 77 of Getting Over on the Cookie Cast. Now, again, if you are new here, please do consider giving us a like, a share, and or a subscribe. Subscribes are always appreciated. It makes Andy very happy, makes us very happy. And not only do you then get the wrestling to your ear holes, you will also get the football podcast. You will get the F1 podcast straight to the apex. You will get Andy's Darkest Timeline. And in just a few short weeks, it'll be time for a little bit of Laces Out. NFL season is just around the corner. So yeah, all that goodness straight to your inbox or wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you, Paul, for joining us on this episode. The rest of them might be back next episode. We shall see. Come and join us to find out. And for now, thank you for listening. And we'll see you after Clash in Paris. Bye.
So there we go. What do you think to that? What predictions have you got? Who do you think is going to win? If you know the matches and you know who you think is going to win, send them our way. The standard offer is if you send us a prediction, whether it wins or not, we will send you a wrestling-related prize that you will absolutely adore. And if you manage to beat our predictions, or the same if we manage to somehow get them all right and you also get them all right, we will send you not one but 2 fantastic wrestling-related prizes. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And if you want to send in your predictions, check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There you can get in touch with us through either our social media or send us an email. Click the email button, it will populate for you. Drop us an email, say, here's who I think is going to win, and here's my address for my prize. That is it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
You've just listened to another episode of Cookie Cast. Thanks for listening.